Hello, everyone. We're going to wait just a couple of moments to allow some attendees to jump in this fine Friday afternoon. All right, looks like we have a couple folks that are still jumping in, which is awesome, but we will get rocking and rolling. Welcome and thank you again for joining us here at Generation Schools. We appreciate that you're with us for the Preventing Summer Learning Loss series. It is just an honor that you're spending this Friday afternoon with us, so thank you for your time. My name is Ashley Valentine, Director of Project Management at Generation Schools, and I will be your host for today. It has been an absolute delight to see some attendees join us for all three sessions this week. Hello, Joel. Thank you, Denise. Bullard, it's great to see you again. Kristen, and when I see you, I mean virtually in the chat box. It is awesome that you are here with us. In session 1, we examined promising practices for preventing learning loss. In session 2, we modeled new strategies for motivating and engaging students and their families. And today in session 3, we'll apply new learning strategies to transform teaching and learning. If you missed a session from this week, you are absolutely welcome to jump in again next week. And as a reminder for today, to eliminate background noise during today's recording, everyone will remain muted. We encourage everyone to engage in discussion with panelists and attendees in the chat box located in the Zoom toolbar. Make sure to select the panelist and attendees option from the dropdown in the chat box. Feel free to do that now, and we would love for you to introduce yourselves as well. Feel free to share your name, your role, and the district or organization you work with. We'd love for all of you guys to mingle and get to know one another a little bit more, and we'd love to get to know you further as well. And at any point you have questions for one of our speakers, feel free to use the chat box as well. We'll answer questions at the end of today's session. We also have a couple polls in place in which you will see a pop-up box appear on your computer screen. For those using a mobile device, a green poll in progress icon will appear at the top of your screen. Please click this icon to respond when we are using polls. And today's recording and slides will be emailed to you within 24 hours after the webinar. We will do our best to get them out right after the webinar so that everyone can enjoy their fabulous weekend. Today, we will have the pleasure of hearing from two amazing speakers, Anna Hogberg and Olivia Bachicha. At Generation Schools Network, Anna supports our health and wellness team and provides resources to schools supporting at-risk students. She also supports teachers with enhancing and furthering their own learning experiences. Anna has spent her career in education as a rural teacher, administrator, mentor, and coach to new and experienced teachers. She is driven by passion for educational quality, equity, and success for all learners. Olivia has been in education for 28 years and has served in the capacity of a teacher, coach, principal, coordinator, and mentor. Fun fact about Olivia, all 26 years of her educational career was spent in the same district. Thank you, Olivia, for your service to that district. You have done an incredible job and have had such a wonderful impact on the students, teachers, family, and community members in that area. We thank you that you are now working alongside other rural districts across South Central Colorado as Senior Director at Generation Schools. Today in session 3, we will apply new learning strategies for enhancing student learning and engagement to teaching and learning models through 2021. Let's rock and roll. Take it away, Olivia.
Hello, everyone. So for today, we'd like to go through today's learning outcomes to share what we're hoping you will take away from today's session. The first is to build awareness and strategies to address equity as it relates to social emotional health. We will explore fun, effective ways to promote learning both within our current situation and throughout the summer. We will also apply the power of family and community partners by sharing resources to implement into your schools and programs. So if you've attended sessions 1 and/or 2 of the Preventing Summer Learning Loss series, this formula should look familiar. Today, we will explore the 3 components: social emotional health, achieving academic success, and family and community engagement. Our first step is to take a look at nurturing social emotional health, SEH, and social emotional learning, SEL. To help us define this, we will think within the context of one's family, community, and cultural background. Social and emotional health is the child's developing capacity to form secure relationships. It's their experience and regulation of emotions and how they explore and learn. The need for social emotional learning is evident with the supporting research that I have here on the slide. The first one states that in grades 5 through 12, only 50% of the United States public school students feel hopeful and engaged. Also, students who struggle perpetually in school often lack the social and emotional skills needed to succeed academically. They act out, interact poorly with teachers and classmates, pay scattered attention in class, and oftentimes skip school. In addition to the research that I just shared with you, GSN was in charge of hosting social emotional learning throughout some schools in Colorado. During the 2019-20 school year, students in 10 districts in Colorado participated in the Generation Schools Social Emotional Learning and Advocacy Program, utilizing the Generation Schools Social Emotional Learning curriculum. At the conclusion of the year, over 1,500 students were surveyed. In response to the statement, through advocacy/SEL, I develop skills that will help me succeed in school, work, and life. 78% of the students in grades 4 through 12 agreed or somewhat agreed to that statement, whereas only 21% disagreed or somewhat disagreed. This data is very valuable due to the fact that it demonstrates that students see the relevance of social emotional learning and advocacy in their own lives. In addition to the student survey that we sponsored, we also had the district participate in the Devereaux Student Strengths Assessment, otherwise known as DESSA, both pre and post in grades K through 12. So both kindergarten through 6th grade students were given a pre-test at the beginning of the year and a follow-up post-test at the end of the year. As you can see, the results demonstrate growth in their strengths from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Again, another data point showing how important and vital social emotional learning is to students. In addition to the DESSA, we also administered the Indigo Social Emotional Competency Assessment, which was conducted with our 7th through 12th grade students. This assessment is broken into the CASEL core competencies, which are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. All 5 of these CASEL competencies are addressed in our Generation Schools curriculum as well. As you can see, the pre and post data also shows significant growth. Keeping these examples of social emotional learning data in mind, one can see the importance of the social emotional learning program for students. Summer programs offer an opportunity to develop social emotional learning skills, which research shows are a booster rocket to learning and also a factor in educational equity, according to the Aspen Institute. At this time, I'd like you to please respond to the question in the chat box. How does your school and program develop, maintain, and foster relationships between and among students? So if you can please post your responses to this question in the chat box, Ashley will share your responses.
Absolutely, Olivia. And feel free to think about what you're currently doing with students or what you may be doing this summer or coming year. Remind app, text, using Zoom. So just keeping that constant communication with kids, that's awesome. I don't know if you guys have heard. Oh, go ahead, Olivia.
I'm so sorry. Also, some strategies that we can look at are mindful minutes, where teachers and staff members that are helping students through this time or through summer school program could offer sessions where kids can just talk for a minute, whether it be on Zoom, and share their emotions and their feelings or ideas or thoughts, whether it be a weekly basis or a daily basis. Looks like we have another response, Ashley.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Yep, Capturing Kids' Hearts is a core SEL program in our district, focused on students giving each other affirmatives and put-ups. Yes, not put-downs, put-ups. That's terrific. Yes, feel free to share if anyone else has any examples. We have Denise, our middle school basketball team, engage in workshops once a week focusing on SEL skills. Oh, you know what I love about that? We're practicing basketball skills, right, with all of our drills. We need to do the same thing with SEL skills. Love that, Denise. We have Joel that suggested 7 Mindsets has been a strong resource. Oh, that's a good one. We'll have to take a look at that one. And thanks, Sam. Yes, affirmations and put-ups. I appreciate that. Thank you. Something I actually did with a group of kiddos last week. We had about 40 kids jump on Zoom and we played Cahoots. I included that in the chat box. But we did a Cahoots game in which all the kids gave one of the leaders a fun fact about themselves. We incorporated that in the game and they had a blast trying to guess who the facts are about. So that was one way we did it. Kristen said our library programs and interactions prioritize building or relationship building. We learn names of each child to start. Oh my gosh, Kristen, if you have additional ideas of how you keep that going, we'd love to hear about it. Thanks, Olivia.
So as we move forward through this series, I would ask that you continue to ponder that question for further discussion during our upcoming coaching sessions, which you can register for at the conclusion of the summer learning series. I will now give it to our co-speaker, Anna.
Thank you, Olivia. As we move forward, we wanted to take a few moments to define both equality and equity as it relates to social emotional learning, student relationships, and also academics. So equality is about giving everybody the same thing. So when we look at this picture, we see 3 kids all at different heights, all with different individual needs. And equality means giving everyone the same size block, but equality doesn't give every child opportunity to see over that fence. So our goal and focus within our work is to bring equity, meaning to support each child with their own unique needs. And the difference here is that it's not about being fair, it's just about making sure kids get what they need by supporting them as individuals. So when we're talking about equity, we are supporting every child to ensure that they get what they need to reach the same goal. And of course, this can look very different, just depending on your students, your families, and the communities that you serve. We are finding that most of the questions that are surrounding school closures are often driven by concerns about equity issues and typically land in 3 different buckets. So for instance, how will students who count on school for breakfast and lunch continue to receive those meals? Or how will students keep up with their coursework at home, or will they at all? And also, how will students have access to additional learning and summer learning opportunities? So as educators, we always strive to reach out to all of our students. And as we're finding ourselves now in these new situations with virtual learning, a new look at summer learning experiences, and possibly even extensions going into the next school year, we just wanted to provide you with a few strategies to help you promote equity within your programs and your own instruction. So these strategies have been adapted through the National Equity Project, which shares some recommendations for educators who are working towards implementing and supporting social emotional learning. So as educators, we should be leading and teaching with the understanding that learning always has social emotional components, and it's always for all students. And building a relationship with our students is what will lead us toward authentic teaching and learning. And setting up supports to raise student self-confidence and a sense of belonging is a key component for the academic and social emotional growth. And we really want to make sure to continue to incorporate social emotional learning to help build and focus on the strengths of each of our students. And we do need to remind ourselves to continue to look beyond lessons and activities and to really focus on listening and putting value into students' personal experiences and narratives. And we can help our students build empathy by allowing them to share their stories and experiences with others, and to ensure that every child has a place and that every child feels that they belong and that they fit in. So I'd like to now open the chat box to hear your responses and to share your strategies with others. So what strategies are you implementing to make your distance learning program more equitable?
Great. I'm going to share another tip really quick from Kristen. A program I started and developed called Little University for our learners ages birth through 5 includes practicing an SEL skill in each weekly session. Multiple access points, not just virtually via a website or email. That's terrific. That's awesome. Let's see, Sam said required weekly check-in with all students. Virtual classes with SEL focus, not just academics. Another response to make distance learning more equitable, sending special resources home, parentheses, in home language or with supports. Varying times of academic sessions so students can choose times that work best for them rather than requiring them all to be present virtually at the same time with no choice. Actually, Allison, that is a fabulous strategy, because what we're hearing from a lot of families is those that have a lot of kiddos at home, parents working from home, some folks are having to use the same computer. And so ensuring that there's a variety of times that everyone's able to get access to technology, that is really terrific. Yep, absolutely. Oh, we have one more. Flexibility in presenting work, parentheses, dropping off work, submit online, videos, phone calls. That's great, really meeting them where they're at. Offering choices of assignments that meet different learning needs. That's great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing so much. Back to you, Anna.
Perfect. Thank you. Those are absolutely wonderful ideas, and ones that can be implemented whether you're in a school, a district, a separate program, and also for every age group as well. So thank you for sharing that. On this slide, we just wanted to share with you some additional free resources that you will have available after the presentation. So the first one are some resources offered through GSN. So we have, through our COVID-19 response, we have so many resources that are within that document itself. We are giving you a sample lesson from our SEL curriculum, and this one's from a Healthy Relationships unit. So it's a sample so you can just kind of see what we have with our organization. And then we also offer a Coping with Crisis forum as well. The second one is the Random Acts of Kindness. This is all free also, free projects, curriculum, and resources. The third is SEL Strategies, and these are from the National Equity Project, which are in addition to the strategies that we have shown on the previous slides. And the last is a mindfulness minute that Olivia mentioned previously, and this takes you to a site that has at least 10 simple ways just to incorporate mindfulness into your everyday. Okay, then I'm going to hand it back over to Olivia for our step number 2.
Thank you, Anna. So our second step in the formula is achieving academic success. In order to achieve academic success, we must first have a feel for what your current instructional practice is and will be over the summer. So at this time, we are going to conduct a poll to gauge what that reality is. Please respond to the poll that will pop up on your computer screen. For those using a mobile device, a green poll in progress icon will appear at the top of your screen. Please click this icon to respond. Our first question is, what is your current instructional delivery? And please note that you can respond to more than one answer. Okay, so it looks like overwhelmingly online learning is a current reality to most of you, with a couple blended and some sending home packets. Great news that none of you have nothing in place. That's awesome. Wonderful. The second question is, what will your instructional delivery be like over the summer? And again, you can respond to more than one. So again, it looks like over the summer, the majority of you are looking at online learning. There's one that said blended learning, some going with packets, some just doing a summer school or tutoring program, and a couple of you mentioned about partnering with community members. And that last one we are going to address at the end of our slide, so that's wonderful. So thank you so much. So we can see from those 2 questions that the majority of you are looking at an online continuing an online delivery for the summer program as well. So to begin the process or continue the process for implementation, we're going to look at applying and implementing some evidence-based strategies. This includes 3 components. The first one being conducting a baseline assessment to determine the needs of your students in literacy and math, collaboration and accountability, and then putting in place a Plan, Do, Study, Act, or which we call PDSA. The first bullet is conducting baseline assessments. For most of you, the last data set that you may have had is from this winter is the 2020 assessment that you distributed, or a progress monitoring tool. The first step to your summer program is to determine where your students' skills fall. You may do this with your existing resources and tools that you use to assess students. Some of those may include iReady Reading and Math from Amplify, DIBELS, NWEA, STAR Reading and Math, MobyMax, core unit assessments, or possibly quarterly unit assessments that you may have developed in your district. Acquiring baseline data on students allows teachers to provide equitable support to all students based on the individual student needs. The second bullet is collaboration and accountability. First, you will need to choose a program to support the learning. Those choices may include utilizing your state academic standards, your adopted district curriculums, an adopted literacy and math series, and possibly research-based programs. You may also have a summer program in place that you have adopted through the years. Keep in mind that the program may be the existing materials that your district already implements. We need to look at implementation with fidelity as well. To ensure that all students receive equitable instruction, the delivery of the instruction must be done with fidelity across the grade level or the sessions. Furthermore, there should be a system of accountability in place. This could be in the form of observations by leadership, checklists for the implementation of the program, and feedback are all part of the process. This could also be in the form of holding a Zoom meeting with parents and families, as well as teachers, sending home surveys, or having a phone conversation with the families to gain their feedback on the process, as well as those educators delivering the instruction. The third and final part is the Plan, Do, Study, Act implementation, PDSA. How do we know if a continuous improvement cycle is working? Well, the first step is to plan. Plan through setting improvement goals, predicting what will happen, planning the cycle, who, what, where, and how is going to be affected in this plan. Step 2, do, carrying out the plan, documenting any problems encountered and observations. Step 3, study, fully analyze the data, compare the data to predictions that you might have made in step 1, and examine the learning, very important. Step 4, act. What changes need to be made to the next cycle? If no changes, then roll out the improvement. This entire process allows this entire cycle, allows the process to be equitable. Teachers continuously reflect on the process and the delivery of the instruction to meet the needs of the students, all the while adjusting their instruction. So as this whole piece comes into play, this last piece is very important to ensure that if things aren't working, or maybe they're not as equitable as you'd like them to be, that you can reflect on that and adjust that instruction as need be. This is something that would be done weekly after the delivery of the instruction and to plan for the following week. I will now give it back to Anna.
Thank you, Olivia. For our third step, we'll start to focus on engaging our family and community partners as we move forward with our planning. So community engagement, as defined by CDE, refers to partnerships shared between schools, families, and their communities to support the social, emotional, and educational development of youth. So school and community partnerships enrich and expand services for in and out of school time, and as a result, positive outcomes for youth and their families. And some of these supports provided in a partnership can produce healthier students, better academic outcomes, and just numerous physical, social, emotional, and socioeconomic benefits as well. So I'd like to share some information around the importance of family engagement from NEA today. And ongoing research shows that family engagement in schools improves student achievement, reduces absenteeism, and restores parents' confidence in their children's education. We know that students with involved parents or other caregivers typically earn higher grades in test scores, and they have better social skills and show improved behavior. And the most significant type of involvement is what parents are doing at home. So by monitoring, supporting, advocating, parents can be engaged in ways that ensure that their children have every opportunity for success. And most of us are now making shifts right now where families are now working alongside teachers in a very different capacity as they are supporting with virtual learning. So families are moving more into the role of facilitators in their child's education. And of course, with this shift comes an even greater need to create those positive, healthy relationships and partnerships with our families. And just to note, it may be very helpful to start these relationships outside the realm of academics. Just being able to connect with your family's needs first can really help build that foundation and trust moving forward. So before I move into sharing resources to help our families, we would like to open the chat box again for you to share ways in which you are creating or maintaining relationships and outreach with your students and families.
Okay, I see here, goodie bags given out to parents who pick up or drop off materials. I'd be happy to drop things off if I got goodies too. Flexible office hours, sometimes meeting with students after hours or on weekends. Oh, sending videos to highlight 8th graders or seniors. Ah, yes, our kiddos who are promoting. That's great. Awesome. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Those are great ideas. Thank you for that. So when strong relationships are created, and as our families are transitioning into facilitators for learning, we can take the next steps as educators and provide our families with strategies and resources that they can implement at home. So both of the resources that are listed here on the slide are taken from CDE, and you can refer to these Colorado resources or your own local and state resources as well. We did want to note, as this question came up in the last session about Spanish resources, so we did want to note when you are on the CDE site, you are actually able to select from many different languages, and so you can send out all this information to all of your families. The first link here on the slide will refer you to CDE's Learning at Home resources, the best practice for families. You can see they have 6 different sections on there. I personally, when I was looking through, really liked what had listed in the best practices for educators, family, and also how are they going to get started at home. So when we're looking specifically at the best practice for families, this suggested that supporting and providing consistent communication, letting students and families know what is expected, how to contact you for support, and how to access resources is just a really great strategy to implement. And having strong communication can also help provide your students just with an outlet to discuss their emotions and continue building their positive growth mindset. This also suggests helping families to set schedules, as that can also be a great strategy. It can create a more predictable learning environment, possibly relieving stress for families and students. Schedules can also give students downtime and physical breaks, and helping to support their healthy habits. And helping families learn to focus on creating an academic and life balance can also be very beneficial as well. The second link that we have on here is Promising Partnerships. It's a resource that is provided both through the State Advisory Council for Parent Involvement in Education and also CDE. And this is a really great resource for schools, for districts, for other educational organizations, both within and outside Colorado. It does highlight how Colorado schools have been partnering with families and the community for student success. And there's just so many great stories and samples that can help you provide new ideas or build upon programs that you may already have in place. Then here are a few other resources that are available to you as you look into creating partnerships with your families. The first is through the National PTA, which outlines standards to follow for family engagement. The second is a link to an article coming from NEA Today, just giving specific tips for increasing your parent engagement. And the third link is from Generation Schools COVID-19, educational resources for schools and families. So as we continue to build our relationships and build our family engagement resources, we just wanted to provide you with a few literacy strategies that you can share with your families so they can continue to support learning at home. So we've just added a few here. One of my favorite ones is EPIC. If parents go on individually, it is a paid subscription, but if schools, libraries, other organizations create an account, you can have all of this access for free for all of your families. Gives us access to so many books and comprehension quizzes, and teachers are actually able to track all their students' progress on there as well. Another great one, just on there, even the YouTube children's authors having videos and through YouTube and other social media where authors are coming and having conversations with students as well. Okay. And then in addition to literacy, here's a few math strategies that you can also share with your families. And there's just so many ways to incorporate math and learning just by everyday tasks and with materials that parents may already have available at home. Just for example, these fun kitchen activities, you can do measurements, temperatures, mixtures, or just even helping with other projects around the house. So giving families those resources and just reminding them all those learning opportunities could be a great strategy and resource for them. So we also wanted to focus on the next steps to transition into summer planning. So we do want to keep that momentum going, keep the connections, and continue with increasing students' academic progress. One way to do that is to create a summer plan with each of your students. And we do have a couple weeks left in the school year, which can be a perfect time to meet with students individually, just to discuss and plan out their steps for the next few months. We do want to give them activities that won't require a lot of adult interaction or support, and also activities that will engage and enhance student learning. So when planning with your students, we'd like you to think of ways that you can combine opportunities. So making sure learning is happening, but not necessarily asking your students to stay logged into the computer or just focused on completing assignments. So when you're meeting with students and having conversations with your planning, you may want to ask about potential summer jobs or internships, maybe community service or volunteer opportunities. Some of those are actually being turned into virtual, so there's a lot of great opportunities there. Maybe you can discuss about summer school or tutoring, credit recovery, online courses, possibly talking about different summer camps, looking at different community programs, sports activities they might be in, having conversations about maybe what family trips or engagements or anything personal that they have going on over the summer. And especially ways that they can communicate and stay in touch with you and also other students that they've already had relationships with that have just changed over this time period right now. And then in addition to the strategies, resources, and plans that you as a school or a program can provide, it's just as important to remember to reach out to current or potential community partners as well. So reaching out to community centers, recreation centers, or other summer programs that may be available. You can also think outside the box by looking for virtual learning experiences such as museums, aquariums, or other virtual field trips. So as you start to explore some learning opportunities and some even non-academic resources, you may want to consider using or creating a family or a community resource guide. And these guides can serve as a resource for basic needs for your families. So additional support during these difficult times and also resources just to extend students' learning opportunities. We listed a few examples on this slide for you. Mental health services, resources provided through local libraries like summer reading programs, some classes, virtual offerings, other summer programs and summer options like online tutoring or clubs that might be available outside of your school or program. And definitely looking at other community partners and programs in your area, like what other nonprofits or programs offer through other schools and districts. And offer or take a look at state resources and support services like Colorado 211 that can help families with resources outside academics. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry, Anna. I just want to say, as you're thinking about creating community resource guide and putting those materials together, I've just been really appreciative of Kristen, who's joined us today. She's a librarian at Denver Public Library, and she was sharing that the library will be making our Summer of Adventure reading program available virtually, but also otherwise families can sign up over the phone, and we can even plan to snail mail out supplies to participate as needed. So just how incredible it is with what folks are doing out there. And, you know, as the school year's wrapping up and we're in this funky season and we're all just trying to make it to summer, that we can tap into the resources that are available to us to be able to create, even if it's a mini guide, to give to families before the school year ends. So, sorry, Anna.
No, that's perfect. That is a great segue into our next question. I did want to note also though that when you're creating this guide too, it's great. Just remember it's a fluid document and you can add and adjust just as needed, and everyone's going to look a little different just depending on the needs of your students and families. So perfect segue to sharing Kristen's idea. And we would like to open chat box again and just hear some ideas that relates to your partnerships and for your school or program. So if you could share, what community partnerships do you currently have or do you want to develop? And what programs do you have to share, such as Kristen shared with us?
Thanks, Sam, for the suggestion. So you'd mentioned public library, local rec center. And Sam, if there's a couple of things that your rec center is offering, we'd love to hear some ideas. That would be terrific too. And I got too excited to read Kristen's suggestion, so sorry about that, folks.
She had a great one, that's all right.
I know with a couple of families I'm working with, just thinking of some mental health folks in the area that are offering mental health, some therapists that are doing mental health online, like through Zoom, and just being creative with how to meet families where they're at in this time. The rec center has summer activity programs we may combine with some literacy math lessons. That is fabulous. Thank you, everyone.
I wanted to add in just a couple other pieces too, especially those of you who are in Colorado. There's a lot going on even with the Denver Zoo or Natural History Museum for a lot of virtual field trips that are being put out. And there's some other local nonprofits that are helping with some mental health or even mentoring support that can work with schools or specific groups of students as well. So thank you everyone for sharing. So when you are finding another program or an organization that connects with your mission, your values, the goals of your school or your program, you can consider making it more of a formal partnership, which can lead to positive relationships and outcomes for both sides, especially when your programs are aligned. One great strategy that can help you bolster your existing or your future partnership is to put a memorandum of understanding, which is abbreviated MOU, which is just an agreement that you can put in place. And this is not something that has to happen, but we wanted to share it with you as just an additional tool as you plan ahead. So MOUs are typically used in a more formal partnerships to provide guidelines and outline specifics. And for more complex projects, this can be a helpful tool to ensure that all parties understand their role and responsibilities as you move forward. So we wanted to have a few resources for you to use when having conversations with programs that may be a great fit for you when you're expanding or formalizing your partnerships. The first is a community partnership toolkit, which is such a great resource, and it can provide detailed information for creating and maintaining these relationships, including ways to research funding opportunities. It helps with setting goals and evaluating your program, and also sustaining and for future plans. The next is the community partnership checklist. So this can help you provide a guideline just for your conversations internally and with your partners. Can help you cover all your bases in that planning phase, such as general operations, partnership responsibilities, and funding and other resources that might be available or that you want to partner with. And the last one we put in there is the community partnership agreement template. So it's just a great starting place for creating your own MOUs. So, and again, these are all free resources that you will have access to at the end of this training. And you can also receive additional support with the planning and implementation during our upcoming coaching sessions.
Thank you, Anna and Olivia, for sharing such great information with us today. We hope you've been able to add tools to your summer learning toolbox, both from today and throughout the series. Today, we built awareness and strategies to address equity as it relates to social emotional health. We hope you found some fun, effective ways to promote learning within our current situation, also throughout the summer and beyond, as well as pick up some valuable resources for family and community partners to implement with your schools and programs this coming summer and also in the fall. As we kind of wrap up today, just for some final thoughts, if you wouldn't mind sharing, we'd love to hear from you. What is one action you will take away from this series to implement with students and families this summer? So thinking back to any of the sessions that we've done this week, if you've been able to join us for all three, whatever has hit home the most that you are excited to run with, we'd love to hear that in the chat box. And as you're thinking of some ahas, we also have our planning guide that you're able to take back with your teammates and take a reflection a little bit deeper. You can answer the suggestion questions in your note catcher. And yeah, feel free to collaborate, get some community partners together, and really think through how you want to plan out your summer learning program. And don't forget, in case you did miss one of the sessions, you are absolutely welcome to join us next week or invite a colleague or friend to next Monday, May 11th or May 13th for session 1 and 2. We also will do session 3 again next Friday as well on the 15th. And you and your team are also welcome to join us for a free coaching session to learn about resolving barriers and plan for summer programming during the week of May 18th. It's completely around your summer program. We just want to be thought partners and help you resolve any problems that may come up for you. A registration link will be emailed out at the beginning of next week. And we will send out a follow-up email to all attendees that will include the link to download a summer learning planning guide to use when you're planning your summer program. And if you're interested in additional COVID-19 resources and offerings, please visit the URL listed at the bottom of the slide. We would be happy to respond to any of your questions. We have something fun for you. We do have all of our speakers today from the series. So we have Anna, Olivia from today, as well as Lisa and Lucy, who joined us in session 1 and 2. You're welcome to ask any of them questions that come up. Feel free to put those in the chat box. And we can also unmute you at this time as well if you'd like to ask a question out loud. Had an aha I'll share out really quick. These sessions have been fantastic. I've been attending because I am on our DPL team developing educator resources. That's Denver Public Library. I've already taken back a number of ideas to my team for supporting students learning over the summer. Melt my heart. That's what we're here for, and we sure are glad that you took some resources home with you. Oh, awesome. We have a colleague who administers our whole summer learning program who plans to attend next week. That's terrific. Absolutely. Well, if you think of any questions that you'd like to ask our team, you are more than welcome to. And as a reminder, we will be sending home, sorry. We will be sending you the follow-up email that will include the slides and the recording today. We'll try to do that actually this afternoon when we all hop off. And we would love for you to take a really short survey just to let us know how we did so we can improve our practice. And even if we need to make tweaks for next week, we'd really appreciate that. So feel free, if you do have questions and want to stay on, you are more than welcome to speak with any of our speakers at this time, and you're welcome to also email them. For those of you that want to go ahead and jump off, we thank you so much, and we hope you have a fabulous weekend.